Aye, shepherd's pie, greetings from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel for a walk and a talk. I want to talk today about something which is important. It's Dumaguete's dirty secret. And believe me, it has one. And the interesting thing about it, it's hiding plain in sight. But it's something a lot of vlogs don't want to talk about. It's something that a lot of you won't want to hear. It's something that if I talk about, it's going to upset a few people. But I'm going to anyway, because it needs to be talked about. And why does it need to be talked about? Well, it needs to be talked about because a friend of mine is leaving the Philippines because of it. And he's a nice chap, and I'm sorry to see him go. But he came here a couple of months ago. He has discovered Dumaguete's, let's call it his dirty little secret, and as a result he's decided it's not for him. He's getting out of Dodge. He's already on a flight home, so which I'm disappointed about. He's a nice chap, but I'm going to expose it to you now. I'm going to let you all know exactly what the secret is, because forewarned is forearmed, and you need to know. So make sure you're sitting down. I will tell you Dumaguete's dirty little secret. So what is Dumaguete's dirty little secret, as I have chosen to call it? I'm sure the suspense is killing you. Well, here you go. Prepare yourselves. It's not paradise. It is not heaven on earth. It is not the utopia that many of the people who come here seem to expect or hope it will be. It is a small provincial city on the island of Negros. That's what it is, chaps. I'm very sorry to disappoint you. I know some vlogs will portray it in a more favourable light, but maybe they're being disingenuous, maybe they genuinely believe it. It depends on the vlogger. It depends on what they say. But Dumaguete isn't great. And there are very few people I know here who've lived for a while who will claim that it is. But it's not a bad place to live. Now, the reason I'm making this video, as I say, I was sitting down the other day with a friend who came over here a couple of months ago. Very sensible chap, in the sense that he decided, look at these, be friendly, be nice, doggy dogs. You don't usually get dogs here as territorial as that. Not in Dumaguete, not round here in Mekong anyway. So, a bulldog over there. Not often you see a English bulldog. It's not an English bulldog, is it? Anyway, there you go. So I digress, as I always do. So I'm going to turn the camera off now because there is an annoying drill. There is always building work going on here, everywhere in the Philippines. There will always be drilling or grinding or something of some sort. Now, might repeat myself now. I can't remember what I was saying when I stopped the video because of the noise. But and I don't know how I'm going to walk through. How will I navigate this without getting my feet and sandals wet? We'll go around this way. So yeah, we were sitting down. I bumped into him in town. asked him how he was going, and he said, I think I have had enough here. I'm getting bored. To which I replied, well, I'm not surprised, mate, because you're not a drinker, you're living in a hotel, gonna get cabin fever, just staying in one room all the time, and you're basically doing the same thing every night, walking up and down the boulevard. Hasn't got a girlfriend, you know. He's a sociable chap, but quite a solitary chap. I hope he doesn't mind me talking about him on the video. He knows I do talk about people I meet on the videos, because I'm not going to go out. It's just a couple of things that he said rang home with me, and one of those was he had come to the conclusion that in terms of restaurants and overall nightlife, it was better in his home city in the UK. Now, I've never been to his home city, but I'm sure that he's right. Because this is a small or a medium-sized provincial town in the Philippines. Dumaguete is not paradise. It is not a great place to live by virtue of the fact that it's Dumaguete. I enjoy living here. I would go as far to say it's not far off being a great place to live. But that's not because it's Dumaguete per se. It's because of my life in Dumaguete. It's because of the quality of life I can enjoy in Dumaguete. It's because of Ellen and Kayla, the relationship I'm in. It's because of my social life. I have made, touchwood stays this way, but I have made Dumaguete an enjoyable place to live. And it took a bit of work. And again, this is why I'm making the video, because some people don't want to promote this reality. They want to paint Dumaguete to be fantastic. And some people who move here just believe they have moved to a paradise. And the reality is, you're going to find it very hard to find paradise anywhere in the Philippines. Because my definition of paradise would be a utopia where there are no issues, there are no problems, everything is fantastic, you know, picturesque, wonderful, beautiful beaches, fantastic accommodation, amazing infrastructure, you know, no problems, friendly, fantastic people, wonderful restaurants, you know, all those great things. Now that to me would be paradise. But the sad reality is, it's subjective. People's versions of paradise will vary greatly. And the places which many of us would consider to be paradise are bloody expensive and beyond the reach of the vast majority of people. These are the places where the millionaires and the billionaires live. You know, Bermuda, places like that. You know, we've got to be realistic here. There are, in your hometown, in your home city, in most Western countries, there will be some restaurants which are light years ahead in the quality of the food than there is in Dumaguete. There will be better nightclubs. I mean, I was living, it's not my home city, but I was living in Leicester in East Midlands for 14 years before I hit the expat trail. And if you compare the Leicester City nightlife to Dumaguete, Leicester wins. You know, the clubs were better. They several really good nightclubs there that I used to enjoy. Some amazing Indian restaurants. And some amazing non-Indian restaurants. You know, overall, without a doubt, Leicester had a lot more to offer in terms of quality food, quality accommodation, houses and things of a higher standard, and everything really. London, even more so. You know, Michelin star restaurants, fantastic nightclubs, you know, historical interest, museums, architecture, you know, all of that, all of these things that Dumaguete doesn't have any of those. But that doesn't mean it's not a great place to live. It doesn't mean you can't turn it into your own paradise. Because fundamentally there are a few reasons why the vast majority of us live here. And one of them is the cost. Now, yeah, there are better restaurants in big western cities and even small provincial mid-sized cities in most western countries. But they cost a lot more. They cost a lot more. I've never hidden the fact that one of the primary reasons I live in the Philippines or Asia is because I don't have to work. I don't like working, I'm a lazy man. I like the fact that I can afford to live here and do nothing, live a life of leisure. That's my game, I love that. So to me, there may be better restaurants and there may be better clubs and better things and more things to see and do in other cities in the world, but my lifestyle here, to me, a lazy man, is far superior to that. You know, I love my lifestyle over here. You know, that's a reality. So you're sacrificing certain things, but overall I enjoy my life. I don't think that's a crime. I enjoy my life here more than I did in the UK, and that is why a lot of people come here. A lot of people come here because the people are friendly. On the whole, you'll get the odd exception. You know, it's Philippines people are friendly. Some might argue it's superficial. I've touched on that in previous videos, but you know, it is not an unpleasant place to live in terms of interacting with people. As far as I'm concerned anyway. Can be trying at times, but you couple the fact with the fact that I enjoy my lifestyle here, the fact that the people are friendly, and let's face it, the elephant in the room is the women as well. You know, it is very easy to meet women here, for the vast majority of men, a lot easier than it is in a Western country. So a lot of people come here because of the relationships. Some of them are head over heels in love. Now, if you have a lifestyle that you enjoy, if you have a relationship that you're blissfully happy in, if you can afford to do things in the Philippines which you couldn't do in your home country, then it starts to become a little bit more like paradise. If you get where I'm going with that. Because there is a lot of potential for a great life in Dumaguete. But to realise that potential, you've got to work at it. Now, I know there will be some people out there who will claim to be Sigmas. I mean, that is the new thing, and everyone used to claim to be alphas. Now they're Sigmas, because they like a solitary lifestyle and they don't need a relationship, and the people that need relationships are weak and pathetic or whatever. We can stay single over here, but to me, being single in the Philippines, certainly in Dumaguete, would be boring. I suggested to my friend, go out and meet some women. Get on Tinder, do a bit of dating. Go to some bars. And his attitude was, well, he doesn't want a girlfriend. So you don't need to have a girlfriend. Just going out for a couple of dates a week will add a bit of fun to your life. You know, there are lots of women here who are very happy to go out and date. They're not necessarily looking for a long-term relationship. They'll be happy with a nice meal out, a bit of dancing, a bit of live music. You know, that kind of thing makes life enjoyable here. You know, I like doing certain social activities. You know, I love my quizzes. I like the bowls, although I haven't been for a while. You know, I like going out and doing things. You know, with friends and that kind of stuff. Now, but I don't want to do that all the time. If I did it all the time, it would become boring. I mean, that's why I left places, other places I've lived in the world, like, you know, Pattaya or Sikihor. You're always doing things. Here, I like to stay in 2 or 3 nights a week. And I like spending time with Ellen. If I was single, I wouldn't have that. I'd get bored. I would get lonely. Does that make me a soft, weak man, as some people might suggest in the comments? I don't think so. I think it makes me human. So, the weather. Yeah, it rains here. Yeah, it rains here. But it's generally nice. It's a lot better than the UK overall. You don't get snowstorms here. You don't get icy mornings. You don't get cold rain. Don't really get gloomy days. So it's another reason why people move here. They move here for the cost of living. They move here for the women. They move here for the lifestyle. You know, and Dumaguete is not a bad place to achieve all of those things. You know, it's a nice sized city for me. It's got basically everything you need. You know, you can get more or less everything. I mean, you might have to go to Cebu or something if you want to buy a top of the range laptop or something like that, but there are electrical stores here. There are a few shopping malls. You know, you've got some hospitals. A couple of them are supposed to be not too bad. There's cinemas, there's bowling, there's water parks. You know, you've got a lot here, and it's all quite close together. But the main reason I've stayed in Dumaguete, as I've said a million times, is the circle of friends here and my relationship with Ellen. You know, my social life. I enjoy it here as much as I've enjoyed it anywhere, but probably more than anywhere else I have lived. Not saying that Pattaya, etc. is not better in Dumaguete in many aspects, but I'm happier here. But that is because of the lifestyle that I have created here. And it's because of the luck in terms of the relationships, the people I've met. You know, Ellen, etc. Now, why is this important? Because what I'm saying is, the fact that I'm in Dumaguete and these things have happened is incidental in many ways. I mean, of course, it's good that, you know, I wouldn't have made friends and had the social life if it wasn't for the expat community here. But you still got to make an effort. If you think you're going to come here and it's just going to be fantastic from the off, and you are not going to have any issues, and, you know, women will be throwing themselves at you, and, you know, the beaches and the weather's going to be fantastic, and the food is going to be incredible, and, you know, it's just going to be a utopia, paradise, heaven on earth, then I'm afraid you're going to be in for a great deal of disappointment. And like my friend, you are going to probably leave. And a lot of people do leave Dumaguete. I mean, some vloggers love to jump on the old, people are leaving Dumaguete, people are leaving the Philippines, why are expat this, why are expats that? There is a massive exodus. I've not done any research, I think that's bullshit. Some people leave, some people stay. You know, if you're an expat and you live in expat circles, there are always people leaving. Some people will come here for 2 or 3 days, be tremendously disappointed, make a vlog and slag the place off to hell. Well, as I've said many times, I get that. When I first came here, I did not like Dumaguete at all. I hated the place. That's why I, particularly Sibilan, that's why I hit the ferry and went over to Sikihor. And just in case, I mean, a lot of the regular viewers will know this, my story, but hopefully I'll get some new viewers when I get this video up. And I loved it. I loved it in Sikihor for the first few months. But familiarity grew contempt, and various things happened over there, and I just got island fever, and I had to get out of Dodge. And I came back to Dumaguete, and it grew on me over time. Never had any intention of staying here full time. Some people say, ah, it's just because of your girlfriend. Well, it's not, because we'd been in a relationship for 8 months, and the vast majority of that I disliked Dumaguete. No, I just moved around here. I tried a couple of months living in different places. I lived up in Valencia. I lived in Sibilan before that. I'm now in Bekong. And when you move around, you meet people, you get different circles, you know. I think it's a great thing. If you're going to come here, it's a good idea to try a couple of months in different areas of Dumaguete. So you get to know the restaurants there, get to know some people there, because then you can move around Dumaguete and the surrounding barangays and areas, and you've got people there. There's always somewhere. If you're getting bored with Dumaguete, you can head up to, you know, Bekong, or you can head up to Valencia, or down to Sibilan, or whatever. I think you get the picture. But yeah, don't expect too much when you come here. Dumaguete is not a holiday destination. I have said this many times. This is one of the reasons why I do not watch these vloggers that go around. I mean, it's great, you know, if you're living in a Western country and you want to watch some guy going around, you know, a few days here, a few days there, going to Sikihor saying, wow, it's fantastic, look at these white beaches, blah blah blah, Dumaguete, oh, I don't like this, etc. Oh, it's this, blah blah blah, you know, too many old people, it's, you know, I used to watch those videos. You know, nothing wrong with that, but honestly, it is not, and I'm not digging them out, but it is not a guide of finding somewhere to live. Because the reality is, you go somewhere for a few days, do the touristy things, walk around the city, it gives you diddly squat in terms of knowledge of whether it's a place for you to live or not. And I've always found that. That's why when I first came here, I said I was going to stay here for 2 years in the Philippines, because it takes time to decide whether the place is right for you or not. You know, I have moved to several places in the world which I rightly believed were going to be, you know, was led to believe were going to be paradise. You know, I lived in Vegas for a while, you know, when I first went to Pattaya, Jomtien. The places I've always thought are going to be fantastic and I'm going to settle down and I'm going to live in forever have been the places I've grown to hate over time, and the places that I've left. So now I don't expect paradise, I don't expect nirvana, I don't expect to find my own slice of heaven. I try and take a more pragmatic view, because I have learned places grow on you. It's not the place per se, it is the relationships you build, it's the people you meet, it is the experiences that you have. They are the things that make a place a great place to live, in my humble opinion. And if you are gonna, because I'm not trying to sell anyone on moving to Dumaguete, I'm not trying to put anyone off moving to Dumaguete, but if you do come here and you want to make a go of it, you are going to have to work on it. Unless you are a very, very, I wouldn't say reclusive person, unless you are incredibly happy in your own company and that's what makes you tick, and you're happy, you know, just spending time by yourself, having a coffee in a restaurant and not engaging with people, and, you know, reading a book in the evenings, which some people are, and God bless them, but that's not me. I am a social creature. You know, you need to make the effort. You need to meet people. Even if you're not looking for a regular girlfriend, go out on some dates. You know, if you've got a couple of dates to look forward to during the week, or even one date a week, you know, it is nice to have something like that to look forward to. Go to bars and restaurants, you know, the same ones several times a week over a certain period at the same kind of time. Meet people. Join clubs. There are lots of clubs here. There are lots of activities. I was saying to my friend, the one I'm talking about, so I'm not digging it. He's a great bloke. I've come to the conclusion now that the Philippines probably isn't for him, but I wanted it to be. So I made a few suggestions like, well, look, come to the music quiz on Tuesday night. He's like, well, I don't really like music quizzes. As I said to him, see, but it's not about the quiz. You may not like the quiz. You don't have to take part in the quiz, but you will meet people. You will make friends. And if you make friends in Dumaguete, it opens up lots of possibilities. You will be invited to join organisations, to go on hikes, to meals with restaurants, beach bar. You know, you get invited to things, and that is what makes Dumaguete great. If you're just going to wander around by yourself, and I'm not talking about my friend here in this particular aspect, I'm talking about some of the vloggers here. You know, you'll see them, they will walk up and down the boulevard and they will pan their camera around, and the beaches aren't fantastic, and they will say there's not much going on here. But what they seem to miss is a lot of the restaurants and bars will have people sitting in them in groups, talking, conversing, having a drink, having something to eat. That is the beauty of Dumaguete anyway. It's not necessarily the restaurant. It's not necessarily the bar. It's the conversation you're having. It's the socialising. And there is a lot of socialising that goes on in Dumaguete. And there are some good restaurants here. You know, there are lots of things to do here. And you can live on any budget here. It's another great thing about the Philippines. If you're living on $1,000 a month, you can have a good life here. If you're living on $2,000 a month, you can have a good life here. If you're living on $10,000 a month here, am I about to get attacked by dogs? I tell you what, don't try it. You know, you can have a great life here. And I tell you now, I know some people who are very wealthy over here, and they're not happier than the people I know on very low budgets over here. It's what you make of it. You know, there is a lifestyle for every budget in the Philippines. Someone remarked on that recently. I'll probably do a video on it. I can't remember who it was, but they were bang on right. You know, it's what you make of it. So what am I saying? I've gone on a long time now. I'm saying, don't expect the world when you come to Dumaguete. Don't expect it to be this fabulous place that you've dreamt about living your entire life. Be realistic with your expectations and work at it. Work at it. You know, it's like when you go to university, or, you know, you join the forces or things. When you go to university, they encourage you to join different clubs, different societies, to expand your social circle. And that's what people do. The cows are very cute here. Why are you two not torn up? Why are you not tied up? Hello, hello. And why are you bullying them? Anyway, there you go. I think I've... Hi, hello. How you doing? Evening. Yeah, I've said my piece. I've waffled. That's what I do. If you watch the channel, you will know that. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that he has given up on the place, because I don't think he really gave it a fair shake, in the sense that, but it might not have been for him. What he did was very clever, in the sense that he didn't make any long-term commitments, just planned to come have a few months and have a recce around and just see how things are and find out if it wasn't for him. And looks like it wasn't for him. Well, there you go. It's not for everyone. But the point I'm making is, if you are thinking about moving here, don't expect too much, and don't jump into things, because it's very easy if your life is not so great in the West. I've been guilty of it in the past. You know, you build up this dream, this illusion that, you know, it doesn't matter now because you're just going to keep working and working, but at the end, when you get to wherever you're going, it's just going to be fantastic. You'll never look back. You're going to have a rock and roll lifestyle, and it's just going to be tremendous for the rest of your life. And the reality is, that's not how life works. You know, just not how life works in my experience. You can't really live in the places that are fantastic. And I mean, how many blissfully, well, obviously not blissfully happy, but how many incredibly wealthy musicians and business people and actors and actresses end up topping themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, money is not the key to happiness. It's you can be very wealthy, but you can very wealthy and you can be blissfully unhappy. You know what I mean? It's just the reality of it. You know, depression is depression. So, you know, you don't need to have lots of money to be happy living in the Philippines. You don't need to have lots of money to be happy living anywhere. Obviously money helps, but anyway, I am going off track now. Those are my thoughts. You know, the secret to Dumaguete is it has the potential to be a good place to live, as does anywhere really, but I think there is more potential here than a lot of places in the Philippines, which is why I've ended up there. Surprises me. I never get, you will always get people who will say in the comments like, why do so many people come to Dumaguete? Why do they do this? Why do they do that? Well, the clue may be that so many people do. It must have something about it. Otherwise, so many wouldn't come here and settle here, would they? I mean, that is the reality. Anyway, I've said enough now. I'm going to knock it on the head. Hopefully the old Dumaguete Tourist Board are not going to be too unhappy with me for being honest about Dumaguete. Hopefully some of the local vloggers who like to sell the I mean, it's one of the reasons why I don't use Facebook anymore, you know, and I watch a lot of channels, because it's like, you know, it's not real, you know, the lifestyle and the picture they are trying to paint. Very superficial. Anyway, I'm not going to carry on. I've always been very bad at any of my videos. I can't stop talking. Anyway, there you go. I have said my piece. That is Dumaguete's dirty secret. If you want to come here, come here. If you don't, don't. But if you do come here, try and make a go of it. I don't mean like, you know, pour loads of cash into it or whatever. I say give it some time and get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Try different things, do different things. Try and meet as many people as you can and immerse yourself in as many different experiences as you can. And then decide. Don't just wander around like a travelling Wilbury and expect everything to fall into place for you, because it won't. And don't expect too much. Anyway, I am going to end it now because I can't stop. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, it would be fantastic if you did. But whether you do or whether you don't, whatever you're doing, stay safe, be lucky.